You've been taught to close your eyes, bow your head, whisper words to the sky, and wait. Wait for life to change. But what if I told you that prayer, as you know it, is incomplete? That what you're calling prayer might just be static in the signal, a call that never quite reaches the field? What if the universe isn't listening to your words, but to your frequency? You see, there's a silent language, older than scripture, deeper than thought, a language the quantum field responds to instantly, without judgment or delay. It's not what you say, it's who you are while you say it. And coherence. Coherence is the dialect of creation. Imagine this. Two people pray for the same thing: peace, healing, abundance. One gets nothing but silence. The other, seemingly by magic, watches reality bend to meet their request. The difference? One broadcasts coherence, the other broadcasts confusion. You've been conditioned to believe that emotion is something to tame, that your body is just a vessel, that your heart is symbolic. But science, yes, science, now says otherwise. Your heart is an electromagnetic powerhouse, your brain a transmitter, your whole nervous system a tuning fork for the quantum. And when these systems sync, when your thoughts, feelings, and biology hum the same song, reality listens. This isn't New Age fluff. This is neurobiology, quantum physics, and ancient knowing converging into one radical truth. You don't get what you ask for, you get what you signal. And if your prayers have gone unanswered, maybe it's because you were never taught how to speak the language the universe actually hears. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we'll unlock the lost art of energetic prayer, not begging, not hoping, but broadcasting, not asking for peace, but becoming the frequency of peace. Because coherence isn't a wish, it's a command. And the field, it's always listening. Before we dive deeper, let's dismantle one of the most damaging illusions you've been sold, that the power to shift reality lies outside of you, in a higher force, a ritual, a doctrine. But let me ask you something. If the divine created you in its image, why would it need you to plead? Why not empower you to create instead? Here's what most people don't realize. Real prayer, effective, reality-shaping prayer, has nothing to do with words and everything to do with signal clarity. Your thoughts, that's just the syntax. Your emotion, that's the voltage. Your heart, that's the broadcast tower. When all three align, you don't just communicate with the universe, you become the universe, speaking to itself. But when they're misaligned, when you ask for healing while vibrating with fear, or dream of love while radiating scarcity, the field receives static. No signal, no collapse, just more waiting. Now pause, because this right here is where most people give up. They think it's not working, when in truth, they're still broadcasting the old frequency. The truth is, you can't pray for peace from a body addicted to chaos. You can't ask for abundance from a nervous system still holding the memory of lack. You have to become the resonance of what you seek. And the moment you do, that's when the prayer leaves your lips and becomes a ripple in the quantum field. So the real question is not, what do you want? It's, are you coherent enough to hold it? Because coherence isn't just some meditative bliss. It's a biological, energetic synchronization. It's the moment your breath, brain waves, and heart rhythms stop fighting each other and start forming a harmonic code. That code? That's what the quantum responds to, and we're about to show you exactly how to tune your system into that code. This is not about belief. It's about broadcast. Stay with me. Because next, we decode the mechanics of coherence and why it's the missing key behind unanswered prayers. Let me ask you something real. And don't answer with your mind, answer with your gut. How many times have you asked for change and nothing happened? How many times have you lit the candle, whispered the affirmation, said the prayer, and still woke up to the same loop? Same bills, same heartbreak, same silence. And maybe you told yourself to just have faith, to keep pushing, to wait for the divine timing. But deep down, something doesn't feel right, does it? There's a quiet ache in the hearts of millions, a feeling they don't dare admit aloud. What if none of this works? What if I'm not chosen? What if the universe isn't listening? And that ache? It's not because you failed. It's because no one ever taught you how reality actually responds. You've been shown how to pray, but not how to signal. You've been told to surrender, but not how to broadcast. And so you keep trying to feel grateful, trying to be positive, trying to stay in alignment, all while your body trembles with suppressed stress and your mind replays scenes of lack on loop. That's not coherence. That's contradiction. And contradiction doesn't manifest. It delays. But here's the truth most teachers skip. You were never ignored. You were incoherent. The field, the quantum, the divine, it's never been rejecting you. It's been reflecting you, reflecting the mixed signal you didn't know you were sending. And that ends now, because in the next few minutes, we're going to dismantle the loop that's kept you stuck. I'll show you the science behind emotional frequency, the forgotten mechanics of prayer as transmission, and how to finally shift from asking to activating. So don't scroll. Don't click away. Because what you're about to learn isn't just the answer to a question, it's the key to a new timeline. Let's make this real, not mystical, not metaphorical, but measurable. Coherence isn't just a vibe, it's a state your entire system enters when your brain, heart, and body synchronize into one unified frequency. Imagine an orchestra. When each musician plays randomly, it's chaos. But when they align under one rhythm, they don't just create sound, they create resonance. That's coherence. And your body? It's the orchestra. Start with your heart. It's not just a pump, it's a broadcasting tower. The HeartMath Institute discovered that your heart's electromagnetic field is 5,000 times stronger than your brain's and can be measured several feet beyond your body. This field carries emotion, and when you feel elevated states like gratitude, peace, love, it shifts from erratic to smooth, ordered, rhythmic. That's coherence. Then comes your brain. When you feel fear, confusion, or self-doubt, your brainwaves scatter. High beta chaos, impossible to focus, impossible to manifest. But in coherence, your brain drops into alpha and theta, the same states activated during meditation, healing, deep insight. In these states, your brain isn't just thinking, it's tuning. And now your nervous system. Most people live in a chronic state of fight or flight, sympathetic overdrive. Even when they pray, their body is bracing for disappointment. And the field? It doesn't hear your words. It hears your vibration. A stressed-out prayer collapses a stressed-out timeline. But a coherent body, a calm, open, regulated system, emits a signal so clean, so aligned, that the quantum field responds instantly. Here's the point. Coherence isn't something you try to feel. It's a physiological shift, a signal upgrade. And when your mind, your emotion, and your biology all say yes, reality bends. Not because the universe favors you, but because now it can hear you clearly. In the next segment, I'll show you exactly how to enter this coherent state on command, not someday, but today. Let's shift from theory into embodiment. Because coherence isn't something you think your way into. It's something you breathe your way into. And the beauty? You don't need hours of meditation or a mountain retreat to access it. You just need 3 minutes and your own heartbeat. Let's begin. Wherever you are, pause. Sit or stand tall. Close your eyes if it's safe. Bring your awareness to your chest. Not your mind, not your breath, just your heart. Now slow your inhale. Count to 5 as you breathe in. Hold for 2. Exhale slowly for 5. And do it again. As you do, imagine your breath is moving in and out through your heart. Visualize it, a soft, gentle wave. In, out, through the heart. This isn't visualization fluff. It's neurocardiology in action. Studies show that breathing through this pattern activates the vagus nerve, shifting your nervous system into parasympathetic regulation, rest, restore, receive. Your heart rhythm stabilizes. Your brain begins syncing with your heart. Your electromagnetic field shifts from incoherence to clarity. You just began broadcasting. Now, while you breathe, bring to mind a memory or a moment that makes you feel deeply grateful, not conceptually, but physically. A moment that makes your chest soften, your eyes close, your body melt a little. Let it fill you. Let it expand. You've just entered coherence. You didn't beg. You didn't try harder. You tuned your signal. And in this state, your thoughts carry weight. Your intentions carry voltage. Your presence becomes a beacon. This is the missing piece in manifestation. Not just clarity of thought, but clarity of field. Practice this for 3 minutes a day and watch what starts to change, not just outside of you, but inside. Because once coherence becomes your baseline, reality can't help but respond in kind. Next, I'll show you how to link this coherence to intention and turn your prayer into a quantum command. Now that you've touched coherence, truly felt it in your system, it's time to aim the signal. Because coherence alone is powerful, but coherence with intention is creation. This is where most people unknowingly stop short. They meditate, feel peace, maybe even cry tears of stillness, but they forget to do the most important thing: direct the signal. Your energy is tuned, your field is open. Now what do you want it to carry? Let me show you. From that heart-centered place, ask yourself, what reality am I ready to embody? Not, what do I hope will happen, but what future version of me feels real right now? Don't think in words, think in emotion, in vibration. Can you feel the version of you who already has what you've been praying for? The one who's already loved, already free, already abundant? Now here's the key. While staying in your state of coherence, merge with that version of you. See the world through their eyes. How do they walk? How do they speak? What do they no longer worry about? This is not imagination, it's entanglement. Your brain doesn't know the difference between vividly lived imagination and physical experience, and neither does the quantum field. So here's what happens. When you combine coherent physiology with embodied intention, your body becomes a transmitter. You broadcast a clear, resonant signal into the quantum field. A signal that says, this is already true. And the field? It doesn't respond to effort. It responds to signal stability. When your thoughts, emotions, and body say the same thing, I am already this, the field mirrors it back. That's not magic, that's physics. And this is where prayer becomes power. Not a request, but a resonance. Not a wish, but a waveform. Next, I'll show you why most people unknowingly sabotage this signal and how to stop collapsing timelines rooted in fear. Here's the part no one tells you, and the reason most people stay stuck, even when they feel spiritual, even when they visualize and journal and say all the right affirmations. They're still broadcasting from contradiction. They enter coherence for a few minutes, they feel the signal start to shift, and then they check their bank account and spiral back into lack. They visualize love and then scroll through social media wondering why they're still alone. They say, I trust the universe, and then spend the rest of the day bracing for disappointment. And the field? It doesn't hear your words. It reads your signal. And when your signal keeps flickering between faith and fear, between gratitude and anxiety, it collapses nothing. No timeline, no shift, just static. And here's the brutal truth. It's not because the universe is ignoring you. It's because you haven't stabilized your frequency long enough for it to respond. Most people pray from emotion but live from programming. They feel expanded in the morning and reactive by noon, and then they wonder why nothing changes. But now that you know this, you have the power to break the loop. Because here's the key. Reality doesn't shift when you visit coherence. It shifts when you live there. And that's exactly what I'll show you next. How to lock in the new frequency, how to hold it even when fear rises, how to become so energetically stable that your dream timeline has no choice but to collapse into form. Stay with me. You're closer than you think. So how do you hold the new frequency when life still looks the same, when bills still arrive, when loneliness still lingers, when the past still tries to pull you back into the old identity? The answer isn't in trying harder, it's in anchoring deeper. You don't fight the old energy, you out-frequency it. You don't resist fear, you become more familiar with trust. Because here's what most people miss. Emotional reflexes are just rehearsed vibrations. Anxiety, doubt, and lack aren't truths, they're habits. And like any habit, they fade when you stop feeding them and start stabilizing something stronger. This is where the real shift happens. Not when you're feeling good, but when you catch yourself slipping and choose again. When you feel the fear rising, but you breathe through your heart anyway. When doubt whispers and you say, "That's the old signal, I don't broadcast that anymore." When the past shows up and you choose to stay present. These tiny decisions, they're not small, they're the rewiring. Every time you return to the coherent version of you, even for 30 seconds, you strengthen that timeline. You teach your nervous system that this new reality isn't just possible, it's safe. And safety is the foundation of receiving. Because the field doesn't respond to force, it responds to stability. So if you've ever wondered why things shift briefly and then fade, it's not because it wasn't real. It's because your signal dropped before it locked in. But now you're learning to hold it, to become the version of you who doesn't wait for proof to believe, but believes so clearly that proof becomes inevitable. And next, I'll show you the final step. How to turn this stable signal into a gravitational pull that makes reality rearrange itself around your vibration. We're almost there. This is where everything clicks, not because you're doing more, but because your field is finally clean enough for reality to respond. You've stopped begging. You've stopped proving. You've started broadcasting. And when your signal becomes stable, something extraordinary happens. Your reality begins to reorganize around you. Not slowly, not incrementally, but with a kind of effortless pull, as if the field has been waiting for this exact frequency to activate a specific set of events. This isn't spiritual poetry, it's electromagnetic law. Your coherent signal becomes a gravitational force. The brain and heart entrain into harmony, your nervous system relaxes into safety, and now you're not chasing anything, you're magnetizing. Opportunities appear not because they were never there, but because you weren't tuned in to the timeline where they could find you. People show up, ideas click, doors open, not because you forced them, but because you stopped contradicting your own energy. This is the paradox. When you stop needing reality to prove anything, it starts showing up to reflect everything. You become the field, you become the mirror, and the version of you who already lives your desire, that version stops being a vision and starts being your vibration. This is not about manifestation as a task. It's about frequency as identity. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are coherent with. And the moment you fully become the signal, delay disappears. In the next final chapter, I'll walk you through a 3-step practice to stabilize this magnetic state every single day. Because coherence isn't just a moment. It's a lifestyle, and you're about to live it. So here we are. You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. You've remembered what coherence feels like in your system, not as a concept, but as a command. And now you understand. You were never waiting on the universe. The universe was waiting on your signal to stabilize. Not because you were being tested, but because the field is precise. It doesn't bend to desperation. It bends to identity. And now, you've reclaimed yours. Not the version shaped by fear, but the one encoded with alignment. The one who doesn't pray from lack, but broadcasts from fullness. The one who doesn't chase miracles, but lives in the frequency where miracles are normal. And if this video did anything for you, if even one part of it stirred something ancient and electric in your chest, then let this be your practice. Every morning, before the noise, return to coherence. Breathe through your heart. Feel gratitude without needing a reason. Tune into the version of you that already lives the life you used to call a dream. Midday, when life gets loud, reset the signal. A single breath, a single sentence. I return to who I already am. And at night, before sleep, rehearse the reality you're broadcasting. Let it imprint. Let it become familiar. Because familiarity is how you collapse new timelines. You don't need to force the shift. You just need to hold the frequency long enough for the field to recognize you. And if something in you already knows this, if you felt the resonance of truth echo through this message, then leave your imprint now. In the comments, type, "I no longer pray from fear. I broadcast from coherence." Not for the algorithm, for your field, for your frequency, for your future. And if you want to stay in this signal, if you want more than content but a space to stabilize and expand, subscribe. Not for me, for the version of you that just got activated. Because coherence isn't something you visit, it's something you become. And that version of you, the one that vibrates peace, purpose, and magnetic clarity, they're not far. They're already you. You're not manifesting them. You're remembering them. Welcome back.